If you ever had the thought that Robocop should have been a Power Ranger, you're in luck. You weren't alone. Part Robocop, part Power Ranger, all Sonic? Yes, this wonderful combination knockoff is called the Sonic Ranger, which might make you think of something else. Look at those silly multicolored Robocops, they don't know who they are anymore. Which I suppose fits. Choke on it! Power Ranger Cop here has some electronic functions, and these will apparently also light up his weapon when he's holding them in his right hand. Sonic Ranger does have a Try Me slot on the back of his box for all 8 of his buttons, but unfortunately... Apparently, expecting these batteries from 1994 to still work is kinda silly. So the Sonic Ranger line is brought to us by Soma, which is a company based out of Hong Kong and has been around since 1968 and is still in operation today. Now, since Soma's been around this long, they obviously have quite a few toy lines to their name. One of note being the Fantasy World line, which was obviously made to cash in on Masters of the Universe. There's also been a few variations on their Robocop Power Ranger mashups, with some smaller scale figures, which are called New Sonic Ranger for some reason. Though I have now seen some of the larger scale electronic ones also called New Sonic Ranger, so I'm guessing the new part has to do with the metallic coloring on these ones. And these things have also gone by Sonic Man. There's also some mini figures released under the Sonic Ranger name. I suppose they did try to warn me that expecting AA batteries to last after 21 years is kinda silly. Well, I certainly didn't get the green Sonic Ranger, as about half this box is wasted space. I suppose they really needed the extra area on the box though, so that they could constantly tell you over and over again that this thing lights up and has sounds. Okay, Sonic Ranger has a twist tie wrapped around his waist, which wasn't actually attached to anything else. Can anyone explain to me the point of that? So Sonic Ranger is another knockoff which actually has the company's stamp on the figure. And interestingly, the year stamped on the figure is 1990, 4 years earlier than the year on the box. Though I think it's pretty easy to figure out why there's a 4-year gap here. I'm sure this mold was originally just used for a straight up Robocop ripoff, and then when Power Rangers got more popular, they said, hey, let's just give those Power Ranger colors. I know, I'm a genius for figuring that one out. Well, we got some lovely glue strings on the side of Sonic Ranger's head here. And I do just absolutely adore his multicolored button panel on his back here. Sonic Ranger doesn't feature any head or leg articulation, just straight up and down arm movement. Also, he is completely hollow, except of course for the electronics housed inside. Let's just take a moment here to really appreciate this. This is Red Ranger Robocop. Go, go, Robocop! He will kill you! I love these stupid chest circles here, which were clearly not part of the original design as they have nothing to do with what's going on the mold here. But since they're on the logo, I guess they're a really important part of the Sonic Rangers. There's really only one spot on this guy where they managed to make these ovals not look as awkward. And that's on his legs just above the knee, and that's only because there was nothing particular going on with the mold in this spot. Alright, now let's open his ass and check out those electronic features. Yes, seriously, I have to open up his ass. Okay, now I'm disappointed again that these batteries don't still work. I mean, look, they were Vinic, extra heavy duty. Man, if I can't trust Vinic, I don't know who I can trust. Alright, enough stupid. Now they've put in some real batteries, we can test the electronics. Prepare to be amazed. That's right, he's got all the classic noises from any of those cheap electronic guns. I always loved that these things had a throwing grenade sound, despite that almost never making sense. But at least it makes sense with the Sonic Ranger, especially with his sword. Oh, and if you ever wanted your toys to sound like an old phone, well... all the weapons have a little metal connector spot, so they get connected to the electronics through the right hand, which is how their light-up function works. Of course, Robo Ranger can always just stand there too and make random noises and light up his visor. Unfortunately, Robert Ranger here isn't too bright, so all you can really see in the dark is the immediate spot where the light is emitting from. And with the sword, it's almost impossible to see anything unless you turn the lights out. I can say that the guns definitely look a lot better than that. But it's still pretty much impossible to see much of the figure in the dark. And I need to answer the phone! Where are you, Sonic Ranger? Robo Ranger isn't horrible plastic quality, but he is a bit lightweight. The only articulation being peg arm joints leaves a bit to be desired too. Some of the details of the paint job not really matching the mold at all is a bit off-putting as well. A lot is done fairly decently on this guy though, and having the metal connectors with the weapons is kind of a neat way to get the light-up gimmick to work. 5. It's clear they just reused their Robocop ripoff molds to make Power Ranger toys, but hey, I suppose that showed some thought. It was creatively lazy. Does that even make sense? 4. Like I always say, I love the combination knockoff, so having Robocop repainted into a Power Ranger is great. It is kind of funny though how often you run into Sentide Robocops, if you will, in the knockoff world, like with the G-Bond bootleg and the Robocop TMNT set. But I must say, Robocop would have been the perfect addition to the Power Rangers team, for sure. 7. It's a pretty decent box with a bunch of flair on it, trying to make you buy into the fact that a cheapy light-up weapon with stock sounds will be one of the most orgasmic experiences in your life, and you can ill afford not to buy the Sonic Ranger to shut your kid up. I am particularly fond of the artwork of the Robocop Rangers as well, though the box being much bigger than it needs to be just to show you the same thing over and over is a bit silly. However, I was glad to see the toy was securely fastened to itself. 7. The major detraction from this figure would be its lack of articulation. Also, I suppose you have to try and figure out if you want to use it more as a Robocop or a Power Ranger. However, having to make that call is what makes this figure. It's also good for hearing those classic assortment of stock weapon noises that so many 90s toys had. 6. And the bootleg zones overall is 7. It's just a knockoff Robocop painted up a bit more colorfully, but you've got to love the Robocop Ranger. Unless you don't, in which case there will be trouble. Trouble with attitude! Another tough day of having to listen to idiots and their stupid problems at the beach. And now to completely forget their stupid problems by getting drunk at the juice bar.
I believe you're misunderstanding the concept of a juice bar, Mitch.
Oh, Nightmare Betty! I need a Sonic Ranger!
Really? I'm just trying to explain to you how this works.
Nope, already called the cops.
Prawn, get me one dead cop with attitude.
Hey, Hey, what the hell am I doing working for this weird painted up skull?
Go, go, Sonic Ranger! I only have one.
Oh, thank God you're here, Sonic Ranger. Nightmare Freddy's up to his usual nightmares and he's telling me he won't serve me any alcohol.
It's a juice bar, you idiot!
Give the creep alcohol, creep, or things might get Sonic-y.
Why did I take this job? This is worse than that time I agreed to that TV series, Freddy's Nightmares.
That's it. You forced my hand.
Did he just try to shoot me with a sword?
Do you have any idea what you're doing?
Not really. I just got murdered and then a giant skull and a transformer told me to put on this ranger suit and then go uphold some prime directives that I wasn't really clear on.
Oh, that's too bad, dude. Come on, pull up a seat. We'll get drunk together and I'll tell you my problems.
For the love of Freddy!
So that's when I adopted a second kid. But then I completely forgot about him when I moved to Hawaii. But then I blew up there. And then I was completely fine from that. And that's when I moved back to Malibu. I got together with this exact clone of this girl that I used to see, and everyone thought it was weird, except me. Also, this was the second woman named Allison who tried to murder me, and it turned out she was working for Shang Tsung the whole time.
This is not worth it. I was already supposed to be dead. Initiating self-destruct. Ha ha ha! I knew I had that for some reason. Now I can finally rest in peace.
Sonic Ranger, quick, it's your boss, Bert. I need you to write a parking ticket with attitude.
Oh, fuck me.
Ugh, this is a mess. Hey, Sonic Ranger, did I ever tell you about the time my stupid son won a year's supply of A&W cream soda?
Why is real life dumber than my nightmares?